Hey everyone, welcome to this special episode of the Intelligent Conversations podcast. Today it's just going to be me. I'm going to be answering some questions that people submitted when I did the last, promoting Oz's episode. Thank you guys that did submit a question. I know it probably took a lot of courage and things like that just to put yourself out there and ask these kinds of questions. So I want to thank you guys for doing that, and I hope that I can answer the questions for you guys in a way that makes sense and we can learn from. So before we get into the questions, I'm just going to give a little background about me. I'm Josh Baker. I'm the host of the Intelligent Conversations podcast. I also wash windows on the side, and if you look, also I have like a fitness business. I kind of want to target, I think health is bigger than just, being physically fit. And I want to kind of target those aspects of health. That's kind of what I do there. And yeah, so I consolidate it all into one. I'm president of the Josh Baker LLC, but that's boring. Let's get into the good stuff here. So again, thank you guys for submitting these questions. It's been great. I just looked at them. You guys had some great responses. These are all anonymous, so I don't know who they are. I hope you guys are listening. If you did submit a question, maybe I could answer it. If I don't, please hit me up and maybe we can have a chat and try and figure it out together. So I'm just kind of going to go right into it. So the first question that someone submitted is, what are you grateful for? Well, I think the list is just infinite here. I'm grateful to be here in the United States, in a free country. I'm also grateful for, two parents that support me and love me. I also have, great family, friends as well. I would say, it just goes on and on. I actually started a gratitude journal about, trying to think, roughly, I want to say like two or 3 months ago. So somewhere around there. So around June, July, I started a gratitude journal just to kind of, turn inward and look what I'm grateful for and what I do have. And a little side note here that I think, because I'm kind of just looking at the next question, I'm going to kind of lead into that. Something that I think a lot of people aren't really grateful for is the bad times that happen. And I know that sounds crazy, like why would you be grateful for something bad? Well, for me, it's like, how else would I be who I am? Like, I need to be grateful for those moments, because I wouldn't be where I am today without those, bad moments. So hopefully I answered that question. I'm grateful for a lot of things at the end of the day. Friends, family, kind of those typical things. I live in a house already right now. Business is starting to pick up. I'm grateful for that. The list goes on. It's infinite. I list 3 things every day that I'm grateful for. So hopefully that answers that question for you guys. The next one, it's a series of questions actually. It's, why are you the way you are? What makes you unique? And what do you think helped you develop these thoughts or ideas, life experiences, people who may have impacted you? The first question, obviously I get what they're trying to ask, like what makes me me? But the first one, I'm just going to kind of answer them one at a time here, just break it down. First one, why are you the way you are? And that makes it sound like it's a little aggressive, but I know that's not their intention. Well, I'm just the way I am because I'm Josh Baker. Like, I don't know how else to answer that. If you don't like the way I am, well, that means at least I have friends. That's actually something I'll hurry and touch on real quick. Believe it or not, if you have people that don't like you, that's a good thing. Like, I feel so bad for the people that have everyone like them, or they feel like everyone needs to like them, because at the end of the day, they might not have any friends. At least I know if people hate me or don't like me, I have guaranteed friends. Because, here's an excellent example. Hitler, whatever, horrible person, right? But he had friends at the end of the day. And I think that's just crazy to think about. Like, even Hitler had friends, and literally the whole world hated him. But he had his little circle, he had friends. So, I don't know, maybe that's some encouragement for those of you that feel like the whole world hates you. Don't worry, if you feel like everyone hates you, that means you have guaranteed friends. That's a fact for sure, because even Hitler had friends. So, and you're not worse than that. So, yeah, that's why I'm the way I am. But what makes you unique? I would say what makes me pretty unique. I would say I don't care about a lot of things that normal people would care about, but I care about, few things. I think, I don't know, maybe it's a good life advice as well. It comes naturally to me. Like, I don't care about what I'm wearing tomorrow. Like, I literally have, for those of you that see me on a daily basis, you see that I literally only have 7 pairs of clothes. That's for the 7 days of the week. And then I have, maybe some dress up stuff for church, or if I want to go somewhere nice. Like, that's it. I have 8 outfits, and that's it. Like, and I don't care about, like, dressing up or anything like that. Where some people, you freaking look at their wardrobe, their closet, and you're like, oh my goodness, you are crazy. And to me, I just don't care about those things. I do, what I mean by that is the few things I do value is what I think makes me unique. Obviously other people value these too, but I value friendship. Like, that's relationships as well. I would say that's probably my big thing. I value the relationships I make with other people, as well as I also value when people are upfront. Like, again, that's kind of tying in. This saying that someone told me, one of my buddies, he told me, he's like, Josh, you're simply complex. And I had to laugh. I actually did a whole video on that on the Young Fitness Instagram, because I was just like blown away. I'm like, simply complex, like, what? And then, I got thinking about it a little bit. I'm like, it does make sense. I feel like I have pretty simple, core values, but how I go about, displaying them, showing other people what matters to me, that's a little complex in how I do that. So I think that's what makes me unique. I'm just, simply complex. So sorry if you're, trying to become friends with me. I hope that helps. But what do you think, this is the next question, what do you think helped you develop these thoughts or ideas? Or life experiences or people who might have impacted you? That's a pretty good question. There's a lot of people, I would say. Here's another thing. I would say everyone I've ever interacted with has made me where I am today. Because without those people, like, even those small talk conversations, I wouldn't be right here right now without them. Even if I don't like them, like currently or whatever, I wouldn't be here without them. And I guess that goes back to the grateful for. I'm grateful for that. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of, obviously my parents, they've been a huge help, always support me. My mother always said that she would be my first customer, and she's always has, and I think that's, that's special to me, and I like that. As well, my friends, I don't have time to list those off, and each one of their experiences, but I don't know, I guess I'll go into detail with that. What makes me consider someone a friend, because there's a lot of people that probably think that I'm their friend, but I honestly, like, if all hell were to break loose, I would freaking just drop them. There's few people that I would stick up for. I would freaking shoot a gun on the front lines with them. Like, I would trust them till the end, type of thing. And I'm gonna use an example here. So, some of my other friends, but Bodie or whatever, I'm not gonna do his last name or whatever, but he appeared on, the first episode of this podcast, and what he said was, what got him is, like, there was this hard moment. I'm not gonna go into detail about that. That's a little private, but I was going through something just awful, and this was, I want to say, recently, and up to that point, like, I've hung out with him, gone to parties with him for 2 years, and I didn't consider him like a friend. Like, I literally didn't, like, he was fun to be around, he was always around, but I was like, you're honestly not my friend, type of thing. But it wasn't until that moment and then he sent me a text, type of thing, and I was like, all right, and it was when I was in this very hard moment, and he didn't have to do that, type of thing. Like, he could just, someone else will do it, right? He has other people that will support him, type of thing. But he did that. He took that out of his day, and that to me meant so much. And that's when I was like, all right, like he's the real deal. He's a true friend type thing. And honestly, it takes years for me to consider someone like a friend of mine. And I would say, my actual friends, those people I would say as well have helped me, who I am today as well, and like guide me in the direction I am, where I am now. And hopefully that's a good thing. If you don't think it is, again, why are you the way you are? I don't care. Like, I think that's what makes me unique. Like, I don't care what other people think about me at the end of the day. So, I hope I answered that to the best of my abilities. But the next one, I actually kind of like this one. How do you deal with the hard things in life? I would say I look at it through. I almost look at it through a beauty lens. I'm trying to think of the word right now. A beautiful perspective. I can't think of the right words. It's not coming to my brain right now. But that's kind of how I deal with those hard things. Is because, I think that ties into the first question as well. What are you grateful for? I know that. And you can ask anyone, like, successful in your eyes, and they'll say that 10% of the time when they're happy, they've learned something. Of course, you want to make that higher. You want to have an enjoyable life and then also learn at the same time. I think that's very important. But, at the end of the day, most of the learning occurs when 90%, like in the 90% of the time, you learn when things are tough. And I've come to like look at it, I'm grateful for it, I'm like, I need this type of thing. And that's kind of how I deal with it. I know some of you probably are like, oh, that doesn't help type of thing, but I don't look at it like I deserve it. I look at it like, all right, this is tough. What can I learn and how am I going to improve and be better? Like, I think that's one of my biggest things in my life especially is I want to be better than I was yesterday. Like, there's like, at the end of the day, I just want to be better than, I'm not competing against anyone else. And some people come, they're like, you're so better than other people. And I don't care. I'm like, no, you can compare all you want, but at the end of the day, I have this thing in my room where at the top with my goals underneath it and like what I'm going to accomplish this day, it's titled You versus You. And ultimately, isn't that what life is? You're competing against you. It's just one big sport. You're trying to beat yourself from yesterday. You're trying to be better than you were yesterday. And I think that's kind of how I deal with the hard things. Like, I look at it at a perspective of like, this is how I'm going to grow, and this is a good thing almost. And then, when I have the good times, I enjoy them. I'm not going to discredit that at all. And then, that's something I'm working on now. When I'm in the good times, I need to learn how to learn in the good times. Weird how kind of that works, but that's kind of how I deal with hard things in my life. How can I be successful? I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of a pretty open-ended question. At the end of the day, you define what success is to you. I think I did that with Skylar in the second episode. He he said, success is, if it's having a lot of money, then sure, go for it. That's what success looks like for you. If it's having a helicopter, that's what he envisioned success looking like, then go for it. If it's having a family, go for it. I guess the question is, how can I be successful? And I guess this has kind of been on my mind lately. It's, I believe, like, I'm starting to develop this theory, I guess, so to speak, of these 3 things that you need in order to be successful in whatever field or whatever you want to do with your life or whatever you envision success being. And you're going to need hard skills. Like, let's say you want to have a successful family. You need to know how to take care of a home. You need to know financial management. You need to know the skills, hard skills in your job, so then you can provide for your family, right? You need those hard skills to, in whatever aspect. You need to find those hard skills. That's just the reality of it. But the 3 soft skills, I guess, what I'm saying, that I think will guarantee success every single time is you need to have focus, patience, and then just the ability to listen. Now, I mean, I think I did a video on this because I'm publishing this Wednesday. I'm doing this on a Friday right now, but I'm going to be publishing this Wednesday, obviously, but Saturday I already filmed this video and all that. I'm posting on the Instagram kind of in depth of each of these, and I'll kind of touch on this right now, but focus is, it's not a tunnel vision, because tunnel vision actually can be very bad, because then you're like, you look at your success and you're like, if I don't get this, then I'm a failure type of thing, and that's it type of thing. So like, let's take Skylar's helicopter story for example. He envisions success being, he wants to own a helicopter. Now, let's say life starts to pick up, and all of a sudden helicopters are banned. Oh crap! Now what is he gonna do? Like, I mean, that's never gonna happen, right? But let's say it does. Like, the government's like, no, helicopters are dangerous. Kobe Bryant died in them. No one else can have them. For him, it's like, crap. What do I do? Type of thing. And if you look at it, that's tunnel vision, is where your vision gets so detailed. The details should come on a daily basis. So like today, I have my specifics. I have the details of what I'm gonna do, and then your vision for what you envision, 4 or 5 years from now, should be something where, what's the word I'm looking for? It should be pretty broad and like not as much details. I mean, that's the thing. He has a helicopter in the vision, but obviously he's gonna need money, maintenance, all that, and that's when he begins to broaden it, and then he can start to work it down, and that's like tunnel vision is where it's like a pyramid. It's where it goes up like this, and then that's tunnel vision. It's one singular point, and then you're like, that's success. That's where you're gonna run into problems, because I hate to break it to you, plans never go according to plan. Like, and especially when you're in this shape right here, like in a triangle or pyramid shape, the bottom is pretty broad. There's no details. You don't know how you're gonna get to that specific goal. I think you need to flip it upside down. You need to have the details of what you're gonna do right now, so then you can get to that broader vision, and it'll constantly be adjusting, because it's easier to adjust the bottom right there than the fine details. And that's kind of, what focus is right there. I think patience too is just, it's required. I mean, they did the marshmallow test. They said that the kids that had patience were the ones that, went on to be successful in life, whether it be job, family. I mean, you need to have patience, whether it be, if you have a kid, then you need to be patient with that kid, especially if you're a kid like me, you need to be patient. Bless my mother's soul. But, patience is just, you're not going to be, like, I think this is one of the most important out of the 3, is if you don't have patience, I mean, they're all important. I guess the next one I think is also pretty important. But if you don't have patience for, the willing to wait for success to happen, then ultimately you're not going to get anywhere, because you're just going to get distracted and you're going to be like, oh, I don't want this. You need to have patience, and you need to have this willingness to wait over a period of time and learn type of thing. That's something I'm still working on. I definitely lack patience. I would have been the kid that grabbed the marshmallow before they even put it on the table. And that's something I think I need to work on. Now the next one, I think this is one I actually naturally came to me, and that is listening. Now, listening is, a lot of people get heard in this world. I like using the words hearers and listeners. A lot of people hear you, they'll hear you, they'll say, oh, that's great, but a lot of people won't listen to you. And I think that's a lot of people are like, oh yeah, no one listens to me. They only hear me, but a lot of you are probably nodding your heads right now. And I think listening would honestly make the world a better place. And that not only just to people, but like your surroundings. Like I would say this is closely tied to awareness, because I would say I can sit in a room and I am aware of everything that's going on. That's just something that naturally comes to me, and like I don't have to like work hard at it. Like an excellent example would be in my stats class. I didn't really care about the content, to be completely honest. And then I realized I'm like, oh, I don't really want to, do the work, learn it. I'll just, if I really want to learn statistics, I'll just pay someone in the future to do it. But what was interesting to me is this was an AP class, and I wanted to learn what made smart people, like what incentivized them to actually, work hard. And that I couldn't talk in that class, if I'm being, because that's the thing. Once you begin talking, your focus shifts to you and what you're giving them. But when you're listening, you're focusing on them and what they're giving to you. And that's something I would say I was pretty good at. And I don't know, that's something, I still struggle with that at times. Like, listening isn't taking everything they say to heart. Listening is listening to them, evaluating for yourself, saying, all right, should I listen? Like, should I take what they have, and wisdom? Should I take their wisdom, or should I just say, no, I don't think they're quite right, and you test it out yourself. I did this all the time with, especially my parents. They'd be like, oh, you shouldn't do this, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna go find out for myself. Like, I listened to them. I was like, yes, I see what you're saying. I see why, the reasoning behind what you're saying. But I don't know, maybe I'm thinking this way more. And I go see for myself type of thing. And I think the ability to, listening doesn't mean that you're relying on others. Listening means that you still rely on yourself to make decisions, make choices in your life. But listening is, you aren't afraid to take other people's advice. Because ultimately that's who you are. I answered that, what makes me unique, like what people helped me develop, who I am today. It's, everyone that you interact with, they're giving something to you, and even if you're not like fully conscious of it, you're still like, that resonates in you. Every time you speak to someone, you're giving a part of yourself to them, and then when they speak, they're giving a part to you. Listening is whether you take it or not, and let it become a part of yourself. And that's what I guess this is kind of a long detour here, but I think that's what it takes to be successful. So hopefully I answered that. But again, ultimately you define what success looks like, and you need to define that for yourself. Let's go to the next question. What inspired you to start this? This one's actually kind of funny. I was mowing the lawn, and then it just kind of happened. And I guess this is the Intelligent Conversations podcast. I'll take this a little deeper, but if you want to be inspired to do something, you have to be able to act on it. Because that's the thing. This idea kind of was clicking in me when I was mowing the lawn, and it was like, oh, this wouldn't be a bad idea. But that's the thing. All it would be is a thought if I didn't act on it. Now it's a reality because I actually decided, hey, what the heck, like, let's try it, type of thing. And I'm not saying to act on every thought you have. Believe it or not, we all have some crazy thoughts that are just bad ideas, and we know it. And I think that's the rational side of our brain thinking. But sometimes we give too much credit to our rational brain, and you gotta just go with the crazy. And I definitely do that. And I would say that's what makes life enjoyable. Sometimes you're just gonna have to say, no, I'm gonna act on this thought. And I think, having that awareness to do that, it makes life fun. And a little side note here, notice how I wasn't sitting down thinking, all right, how am I gonna, get my name out there? Because ultimately this is, podcasting, Instagram, Snapchat, all these things that, platforms I'm on. It's building my personal brand, who I am. And I didn't sit down and all right, how am I going to, build my brand? It wasn't like a moment like that. It was me freaking mowing the lawn. And I wasn't even thinking about it. It was just a train of thought. And I think all great ideas come from people that, are just doing something. If you look throughout history, most of the great inventions or movements or whatever great moment came from people that were just acted on a thought in a random scenario. So like me mowing the lawn, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna act on it. Maybe this becomes great, maybe this doesn't, but I'm not too concerned about that. Again, I don't care type of thing. But it's acting on that random thought you have, like, yeah, and you have to remember it, I guess, too, but it's acting on that thought that I think really matters. And yeah, that's kind of what inspired me to start this. It just kind of happened too. It's just like, all right, let's do it type of thing. So yeah, that's how I started. So we're approaching the last question here. Man, this is a big one. I'd like to know your thoughts on the importance of continuing your education through college versus going straight to a full-time job. Man, that's a loaded question. So I guess I would have to say is, first of all, if you're listening to this and you think your only option is college, you're my age, 18 to 24, you're thinking your only option is college or a full-time job, you're completely wrong. Now, I'm going to warn you, I am pretty biased towards, owning your own business or starting your own business. But I'm just letting you know, ultimately what you want to do is just do what you freaking love. Like, at the end of the day, just do what you love. Okay? Like, I mean, if you, let's say you enjoy freaking college, like, I don't know. I guess the social atmosphere a lot of people will like. And I honestly am probably going to, once, college is approaching here, for most people, I'm going to engage myself in those audiences because for business, you need to be acquainted with the people who you know. So I'm not going to, just freaking sit in the parents' basement and freaking just code away like Zuckerberg or whatever. I'm going to actually, go out and meet more people, kind of like a Mark Cuban style of thing. And I don't know, going straight into if you love that job, go for it. But if you're just getting it just because you're like, oh, I need to make money, I think it's the worst move. Because I've said this a lot. Times, that's another thing I value so much is time. You never know when you're gonna freaking go. But ultimately, we're looking at a bigger picture here. If you don't love every freaking second, you're not gonna like every second. You're gonna endure hard times, but if you're not loving the process of things, then that's not the job for you. So, if you're just getting a full-time job, pay the bills, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I think business would actually be really helpful for you. I think you would actually enjoy that quite well, because then you have that autonomy to do what you want, and you learn on a daily basis. Something I read recently was that when the life expectancy, okay, I'm not going to get political here or anything, but Social Security, when it originally was instated or whatever, it's 65, right? Now, the life expectancy when this was introduced was 60. Right now, I believe, granted, my age group won't outlive our parents, they say. We'll still live well beyond that 60, I feel like. We'll hit like 68, 70. Now, ultimately, the idea of that is you retire for 10 years, right? And do whatever you want type of thing. That's what retirement is, enjoy your life type of thing. And ultimately I want to retire in 40 years, do whatever I want. But I think that sounds enticing. But we're entering this day and age where you can risk it all those 10 years and still be fine. Like, you can come out of high school, let's say, and you can risk it all, but you still have 30 years in the workforce where you can do great things and still get that retirement plan. And you won't have as much, but I think at the end of the day, when you're sitting in that retirement home or in your home living life when you're 60, 70, the thought that you actually tried, and put yourself out there to try and be successful and start a business, I think that would be something that a lot of people that I've talked to that are older have said, yeah, that's my number one regret. I wish I started a business. And I think that, knowing that, in my mind, that's the path I want to take. I'm like, even if I fail freaking those 10 years, I'm going to be first of all, I'm going to be a better person because of it. I'm going to learn a lot. And then, 2, I'll still be able to get a job or whatever and enter the workforce, and you'll be fine those 30 years. Or whatever. And I mean, that's kind of what I think you should look at. I mean, I think this is the culture we need to shift towards. I think we need to shift towards this risk it all after high school for 10 years. And if it doesn't work out for you, then, maybe start heading towards, a job that can get you retirement income. But I mean, ultimately, the people that are persistent, I believe they actually are successful. I haven't seen one person that just sticks with it that hasn't been successful. So I think that ultimately is what, business. And also with this question, I think there's just so many options in today's day and age. I mean, you can go in the army, trade school, college, full-time job, part-time job. You can do whatever you freaking want. Like, I'm serious. I mean, ultimately that's what, I know I've talked a lot about business and the benefits of that, but I will give credit to college though. I think if you want to be like an accountant, a lawyer, college is required, almost. Now, I actually heard something in I can't remember what state it was, but apparently you don't need a law degree or whatever. You just need to pass the bar exam. So this guy or whatever, he went out and he passed the bar exam, and then everyone's like, oh shoot, like this, he got hired within like seconds or whatever, and everyone's like, what the heck? This guy only, studied for a year and then passed the bar exam? It was nuts. And I was like, I thought you had to have a degree to be a lawyer. To even take the bar exam, I thought you had to have, but apparently not. And I'm trying to remember the state. Somewhere back east, but I don't remember. But yeah, there's ultimately, when it comes to college, I don't think, high school's all about just proving you can use your prefrontal cortex. Like, college, I think, is about whether or not you can actually, think critically and, solve problems type of thing. Because ultimately, you live in the United States, you're going to go work for a business. Even if it's the government should operate like a business type of thing. And ultimately, we live in a capitalist society, so that's how we operate, is through business. So I think everyone needs to understand a little bit of that. But yeah, even college, right now they operate like a business as well. Now they do have federal funding coming through, which definitely enhances that. So they have this everything comes down to value, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. But it's the value you get out. So if you're gonna go and get a gender studies degree or whatever, honestly, truly, if gender studies for some reason just freaking excites you, you love it, makes you happy, I would say go the entrepreneur route. College is useless for that aspect. Now, if you want to be an accountant, I know a really good friend of mine that wants to be an accountant, and I totally respect that, because I actually think accountants need to come out of college because they need the technical skills, they need the knowledge of that. Because last thing I want, as a business owner and trying to grow and stuff, is my accountant to screw up my books and us to get freaking sued, or for me to go to jail because they mess something up. Like, that's the last thing any business owner wants, because that's ultimately what an accountant is the allocation of funds. And we need people that actually know what they're doing, and I think college is excellent for that. Whereas, like, if you do enjoy gender studies, I would suggest, first of all, what job hires that? And then second, you have social media. Freaking share it with you. There's other people that are interested in that. Younger generation especially, other people are. And I would say, do something like that. You can have a little McDonald's job on the side, make some money, and then funnel it towards that business, slowly start. And that's the thing, you're like, oh, maybe I don't, I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. Write a book then. It's not hard to write. All you need is a computer, type it up, hit send to Audible or whatever, pay like $50 or something, and you've wrote a book. And that's crazy thing. You're like, oh, I don't really want to write a book or whatever. Then start a charity. Especially when it comes to the LGBTQ community, they have higher cases of domestic violence. I think you could start a charity and help them out, and it satisfy, that social, like, oh, I'm doing something helpful to help the community, I think that would be helpful for you guys as well. So that's the thing, is we've gotten to this society where we think college is an absolute must. I mean, I just gave 4 examples for a degree that a lot of people go out and get, and then they're trying to find a job. And they're like $100,000 in debt, and they wonder why their life sucks. Because they still did what they wanted, but they didn't do it in a way that, and I hope they learned from that, but they didn't do it in a way that was productive. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So, yeah, I guess that's my answer for that question. It all comes down to what you value, though, and what you want. Like, if you want to go to college, do it. Like, just go and do it. If you want to go straight into a full-time, do it. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand this, but the United States was the first country where we could satisfy our wants. Like, before that, it was just satisfy the need, like live, eat, shelter, water, sleep, repeat type of thing. Like, that's all I really could do. They're like, we need to do everything we can to survive. Now, I'm not saying we're perfect, but what I am saying is we're the first nation that says, oh, I want to buy a cell phone to waste my time on. And we can do that, and I think that's a wonderful thing to have. So, I mean, it's the same thing, excuse me, when it comes to your career or what you want to do, to make money. I think it's the same idea. It's like, what do you want? And you can make that choice as well and be successful in it. So, yeah, I hope I answered that to the best of my abilities. But yeah, that's all the questions I had. Again, thank you guys that did submit responses or questions for me to answer. I really enjoyed this. You guys had really incredible questions. Again, I bet it was hard for you guys to think of this, and where you were questioning whether you should submit this. First of all, thank you. It's, means a lot to me. Gives me something to do, talk about, and it's been great. I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. I'm thinking if this gets the viewers or that I want, that I'm gonna try and do something like this more often. So I'll keep this up for now. And other people can ask questions, and then I'm still gonna bring on guests. Don't worry, I have one that I'm thinking of lining up next week, and that one's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm gonna just go back to the regular questions for that one. But if this one gets the views that I want, then I'll start doing this format more. And I mean, ultimately, I want you guys to be entertained by this. So again, thank you guys for the support. It's been so great. And I guess this is Josh Baker, your host of the Intelligent Conversations, and we'll see you guys next week. And let's get after it.